o'clock, I'll call this common council meeting to order for December. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk call roll, please?
Brown.
Here.
Evans.
Here.
Foodie. Here. Grattan.
Here.
Morose.
Here.
Schuster.
Here.
First item of business is agenda approval. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Brown, second by Schuster. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approve minutes of previous meetings?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Grattan, second by Morose. Any further questions, comments? Questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approve minutes of intervening meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Who's that? Cheryl.
Cheryl and Schuster.
Brown, Schuster. Any further discussion on these? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next, we have public appearances. We got the John and Jerry show here tonight.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll let you gentlemen introduce yourselves so I don't butcher up your last names. So.
Thank you for your time this evening. I'm Jerry Trauber. This is my wingman, John Faltz. We're representing the Pelican Path team, which is going to be a 5-mile paved multi-use trail from Houston'sford to the Wild Goose State Trail, trailhead on Highway 60. And I just wanted to update you on that tonight. We have a couple asks, which I'll get to in just a minute. This is going to be the 4th trail in Dodge County. Gold Star Memorial Trail will be the 3rd trail. So when this trail goes in, we'll have a grid connecting Beaver Dam, Juneau, Horicon, Mayville, Houston'sford, Kleinman. And that's the plan, is to create this grid of trails in Dodge County. This is part of a year-long strategic planning process we did. UW Extension does this Design Wisconsin program where they get with small communities, come up with a strategic plan. And they say, what do you want to see in the next 5 or 10 years? So trails was one of the things that bubbled at the top when we went through the strategic planning process. We had hundreds of community residents come out in Houston'sford over a weekend, and we got to vote on what we wanted to see. Parks were near the top, trails were near the top, and school obviously was near the top. So we're pretty far along at this point. This document that I talked about is published at pathofhouston'sford.com. Pelican Path is on page 55. So you can check out the URL and check out the plan there. It's sort of a strategic plan for Houston'sford area for the next 10 years. Not just the village, nearby towns all participated as well. There'll be 3 contracts for this Pelican Path. We're negotiating with MSA at Beaver Dam right now for the feasibility study. It'll show where the most likely locations are. Immediately north of Highway 60 or immediately south of Highway 60 are probably the most likely location. The engineers will tell us that. They'll take a look at what are the hazards, what are the watersheds, things like that, that we have to accommodate as part of the Pelican Path. If you want to see the website, we just launched in November, pelicanpath.org. Talks all about it, so please check that out when you get a chance. And why should Juneau care? Well, cycling is a $1.42 billion industry for Wisconsin every year, according to the governor's office. We buy bicycles, we do tune-ups at Mike Rosh's place in Expedition Supply in Hartford, give him hundreds of dollars every spring. We do rides in the Juneau area all the time. For example, one of our rides, we started at the trailhead, went to Edward Bricks, did a wine tasting, went down to Cafe de Juneau, had lunch, and back to Star. So we do rides like that all the time. We also do the Wild Goose Chase every year, which goes through Juneau. We start at the trailhead, go up north, go to Fondy, come back. It's a 70-mile ride. This year we're going to convert that to a fundraiser. So if we coordinate with the local businesses in Juneau, we can push some of the cyclists into the local businesses in Juneau. We already talked to Brett Bolden about that last week. He's obviously the president of the chamber. So exciting things ahead for the Pelican Path and for some of these other efforts. We have overwhelming support so far, 39 letters of support so far, including our state senator and state assemblyman. So Mark Warren and John Jagler are on board. And several businesses in Juneau have signed on. We've got letters from 1850s, Edward Briggs, Juneau Lane, several others, and the Chamber of Commerce also gave us a letter of support. So we have 2 asks for you tonight. One is we'd like a letter of support from the council. So just to say it's a good thing. There's no commitment. We're just, my wingman here has a letter for you. Pretty straightforward. So I'll pass that around. It's a quick just says it's good for the health and wellness of the residents of Juneau and good for business. There's no commitment, like I said, but we are asking for a donation. We're very interested in that, so we'll see how that goes. Questions for me?
Richard, why don't you read that letter while you're...
Sure. It's addressed to Mr. Bill Ellenbach, Director of Dodge County Land Resources and Parks Department. Dear Mr. Ellenbach, by this letter, City of Juneau strongly endorses efforts to create a Pelican Path travel connection trail from Eustisford to the Wild Goose State Trail, trailhead on State Road 60. This project stems from over a year of strategic planning by 20 planning and design professionals, facilitated by UW Extension, as well as the Path of Eustisford team. Over 300 community surveys and a community design charrette held in early May with the Eustisford community. At the follow-up implementation meeting held in July, volunteers came forward to implement the trail concept championed at the charrette, and the Pelican Path team was coined. We understand the trail will provide the following benefits. Provide users with a safe, non-motorized travel connection between Eustisford and the Wild Goose State Trail and the Glacial River Trail, thus forming a connection to Watertown, Clyman, Juneau, and the surrounding communities. Located at a minimum of 15 feet off the road, Highway 60 in the right-of-way area, promote economic and tourism links to surrounding communities and attractions, integrate with county, state, and regional trail systems and related development efforts, increase the health and wellness of trail users of all ages. We believe that the organizer plans to seek grants and raise funds are realistic and doable. We support this project and strongly endorse any assistance with Dodge County, which Dodge County can provide to make the Pelican Path a reality. Sincerely, us.
Very good. Prior to you being on our agenda tonight, I instruct Kaylee to see if she can come up with a resolution, but she kind of ran into a roadblock because she had some that were more in depth than what she wanted to burden us with. So I guess you've got a base plate here to start off with, Kaylee, so we'll probably be acting on this next month. I wanted to act on it this month right away, but we couldn't get a resolution together in time.
Okay, fair enough.
But,
There was one person at the table that used to ride with us.
We did. My husband and I took off on the first Wild Goose Chasers ride up to Fond du Lac. We did not go the 70-some miles. We were new beginners, but we were definitely welcome with the Wild Goose Chasers on that ride, and they have become fast friends of ours. I would highly recommend that we continue this type of thing. I know there are many, many state trails in the state of Wisconsin that interconnect, and I can tell you that from our conversation as the Wild Goose Chasers, it may also give opportunity for further business, whether it's a bike shop along the trail somewhere in Juneau, or, I mean, we began to brainstorm what's available, because when you get out there and you go biking, sometimes you need a bike shop because you have a blowout somewhere, and Walmart is far too far away, but you need something on a trail. So there's all kinds of opportunity out there, and I would highly recommend our city go and support this. First of all, verbally, and then also to see if we can partner in some way, potentially financially with them. I know where we are financially as a city, and I'm not talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you know, sometimes it's the manpower to get in there and help with doing whatever, or saying I have the expertise in this field that can also be of great value to a project like this. So.
Anybody that assists us in bolstering our economic development within the community points that Wild Goose Trail as the diamond in the rough here. So I guess what you're trying to do is put a connect, and yeah, I'm all in favor of it. We've talked about it at several chamber meetings and what have you, and I think that's a good thing for the community and the county as well. So.
That trailhead parking lot is awfully full on weekends. I don't know if anybody drives by there, but a lot of people do use that. And a lot of people don't even know Juneau was here on the trail. When we go by and talk to the people, well, where can I stop for a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Well, you know, Cafe de Juneau, you know, at the time they were open. You know.
All right. You still can't get through climbing to get to Watertown's trail though yet.
Yes, you
Oh,
can.
you can.
Sure you
You
can.
know?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Right
It's on the road, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the Glacial River Trail, it's called.
Okay.
But just past that, oh, there's a dog that chases you every time.
That's not a welcome thing.
What's cool though is there's like horse trails too for part of it.
Yes.
That-
Yes.
There's
Yes,
walking
yes,
trails
yes,
and there's
yeah,
horse
yeah.
trails.
Definitely a
So
multi-use
it's more than
trail.
just hikers and bikers. and-
Right.
I guess my point is, it does get used.
Yeah, it sure does.
Good. Has Dutch County inkling towards supporting this or helping out financially to get that built? Because it's going to be a sizable
Yes. because
undertaking to get from A to B there.
Very much so.
I think we have a grant lined up for the first
Okay.
contract already, and then the city's gonna meet with us on Thursday with MSA to negotiate the contract, because they have a lot of expertise in this, obviously,
Great.
And we're meeting with Dodge County tomorrow yet, right?
for the focus group, yeah.
Focus group.
So,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. So you're thinking resolution next month, Your Honor?
Yeah, we'll put something together. This gives us a little something to work with and whatever. We'll just get the wording proper and
Great.
go from there.
What are your thoughts on the donation?
We can refer that to finance.
Jerry, can you give us a picture of what you, I mean, at this base, I know you don't have firm numbers, but what's your perspective of dollar value for this trailer going?
So, rough estimate I got from Andrew Johnson, our county supervisor, who's obviously wedded to the Gold Star Memorial Trail. He said estimated $250,000 per mile. But our trail is more simple, so maybe, I'm thinking maybe about $1 million.
The Gold Star Trail, just to give, do you know what the overall cost for the Gold Star Trail is?
I don't.
Okay.
They have a lot more hazards to deal with.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think our feasibility contract will be between $6,000 and $20,000. So it'll be the first contract. And then we'll do the design contract and then the construction contract.
Any other questions? Anything you want to add, John?
It takes years, this is just a start.
Have you checked with Piggly Wiggly here in town as a,
Yeah. We're gonna do the roundup thing,
Yeah, the roundup.
hopefully in 2023.
okay.
And we have a letter signed from them just like that.
Getting together with Brett Bowman's a good move too.
Yes, it is.
He's, certainly wants to keep the downtown thriving or get it to thrive.
He's very interesting, yeah.
He is, yeah, he's a good guy. Good guy. Well, thank you gentlemen for coming tonight. You can-
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome to come to the next meeting if you want to witness the passing of the resolution.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could get a picture of you handing over the check to the team, that'd be really good. Put that on our Facebook page.
Might not be able to cash it until 2025.
Well, nice to see you again.
Thank you.
John, good to see you.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting.
You mentioned Brett, I think we'll.
Okay, good thing for the community. I think we should fully endorse it, and it's only going to have some spin-off for our businesses that might be able to benefit from it as well. It's good, healthy entertainment.
Yeah,
Healthy
people, when they look
pastime.
for a community, sometimes they're looking for options like that.
Right,
So
right.
strongly urge you to support it.
Okay, any other discussion on that? Seeing none, communications, the only communications I had was our block grant is, please find the monitoring results for the letter for the city of Juneau, CLPF 2143. The monitoring resulted in no findings or concerns. Please retain a copy of this letter in the files. Congratulations on successfully managing your project. That's from Ben Leher, the grant specialist, and that would be for the block grant that we've got for the Highland Street project. So everything went off without a hitch. And the other communication I had, Mike Stotts from MSA gave me a call. He's the president of MSA that oversees 4 states of MSAs, and periodically he just picks, he says about 12 communities that he does phone calls with or connections just to touch bases on how MSA is performing in their community, and since he saw all the work that we've been doing with them in the last year and what's coming up with their treatment plant and whatever, he reached out to me to have a phone call or phone conversation with him. So I set it up at the end of the day so I could have some time to spend with him, and I voiced our concerns that the lack of, what would you say, our concerns with projects in general as far as the inspections and the accuracy of staking out items along the route and what have you. And we talked for over an hour. I sent forth some of the concerns that our clerk has as far as billings that come through with minimal explanation on why there is a cost overrun and what have you. And pretty well gave him the indication, or gave him the feeling that, hey, we're not 100% satisfied with MSA at this time and what have you. Cordial, I mean, really great. I said, I told him that I had a personal connection with the Laos, and I didn't want to destroy that by having this phone call, and he assured me that there wouldn't be an issue. He'd handle it professionally, and within 2 days, he had a gentleman out here doing a walkthrough with me, Nick Gallman, and Scott Carpenter. We showed all the FUBAs along the route and what have you, and then we did a walkthrough on the Oak Street route there, and some of the change orders that were authorized without really anybody's authorization, or the work had to proceed, so naturally they plowed ahead. And I told them we will be having some conversations on these cost overruns and what have you. And but Mike Stott's definitely a gentleman. He said he appreciates the patronage that we do with MSA and wants to continue that, and I told him I want to as well. I said this isn't just an opportunity to bend your ear and tear the company down, because I says they've done a lot of good things for us over the years, but I says in comparing on how we proceeded with other projects to our liking, I says we've had quite a few FUBAs here coming along the route. So he assured me this would be corrected, and any of our financial concerns as far as cost overruns, I explained how I reached out to our city attorney as far as authorizing granulate backfill to come in at a cost that was 3 times the cost of the bid items for other bidders. They pulled that apart and showed us that there was some savings on the other end of things. But I said, right now, I put him on notice that I said, we're not authorizing any cost overruns until the end of the project. I said, I want to see the credits alongside the cost overruns. I says, we'll continue to pay the base bills as they come in, but I says, don't expect the beginning checks for cost extras and what have you that don't have credits for the work that should have offset some of these extras. So he agreed with that, and that was fair. And I guess it was just a good overall airing. It was the type of thing that I'm not ready to send MSA down the road, because they're probably the most geographically located to us, versus hiring somebody out of Madison or Milwaukee or Fond du Lac or Green Bay. That's all going to come with a cost. So I think we did the right thing by putting them on notice, and hope that they can take care of some of these shortfalls here. So, I mean, we've got a major contract with the wastewater treatment plant. I mean, that's a big project out there, and they garnish a lot of dollars for doing that kind of work there, and it'll keep them busy for the next 2 years, from the time we let bids and to the time it's a final project out there. And I know they appreciate our business and our patronage. So, like I said, keeping them on notice and making sure that they understand that at times we're not happy with the performance of some of their people and what have you. But like I said, he handled it very well. Never was there any backlash or any trying to defend the position of MSA. He said, we're certainly going to look into it and make sure we appease you people. So that's where we're at right now. So I'm hoping from here on in things go a little bit better, and they do a little bit better as far as their staking and their inspections, and making sure that facilities can fit in an 8-foot terrace, whatever, and not be in our sidewalks and right-of-ways and what have you. So that was about it. If you got any questions, I'll try to answer. But like I said, within 2 days, he had somebody setting up an appointment to do a walkthrough. So 7:30 one morning, and I got the other 2 superintendents, so we did a walkthrough and actually did a physical viewing, and yeah, that was a good thing. All right, moving on, any communications from the clerk office?
Oh boy, taxes are here, they're out. We're getting lots of payments in already. I had a resident come in today about the snow plowing and how we're gonna handle that on East Oak Street. Scott Carpenter was in here, he talked to her. They're concerned about gravel on their lawns. So. The election is done, it's closed. We're moving on.
With this first snowfall too, we seem to always have an issue on South Main Street as well. They tend to drive much faster than they would have to and roll all that snow over onto the sidewalk. There's only about a 4-foot terrace area there, and it's very easy if you get up over 20, 25 miles an hour, that snow rolls over on top of the sidewalk, and then these people have to lift all that wet snow, and it's always so convenient. It's usually after they've got their walks shoveled, so. Yeah. I mean, we all put up with it in the driveway openings. I think we all understand and accept the fact that you can't plow snow without rolling the snow into the driveway openings. But yeah, there's no reason that we have to be doing a 35-mile-an-hour clip and pushing that stuff 12 feet off the curb into the people's front yards. So I will be talking to Scott with that, or Dave if you want to bring that up, because they already got a couple complaints on South Main Street as well. As far as the gravel on East Oak Street, that's going to be a tough issue until we get good hard frost, and that gravel, the moisture inside of it, especially, this will help now that we got a good wet saturation. We get a good frost for a week or something like that, and then it'll be almost like pavement. But it's pretty hard to snow plow gravel with the gravel surface and not cause some problems there. But I guess the boys would know to keep the blade up as high as they can, and maybe if they got shoes on the blades that it doesn't dig in or whatever.
Can't really do anything till you have a base to plow.
Yeah.
But I can say on 26, I've noticed they've slowed down a lot, and I used to be one to complain, but they've slowed down a lot that I saw.
Oh, good. I mean, like I said, it seems to be routine up on South Main Street and whatever. And there's one gentleman that's got a long stretch to keep clean there in front of the old high school, from A to B, so I can understand his concern there. But otherwise, Kaylee, you just keep baffling him.
I will.
Anything else? Moving on, we got approved payments of bills, checks of $753,178.31. There are no vouchers, electronic transfers of $223,817.56. There a motion to approve the payments of bills.
So moved.
Motion by Foodie.
Second.
Second by Schuster. Any further discussion, questions, or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Woody,
Aye.
Schuster,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Evans,
Aye.
Groton,
Aye.
Morose.
Aye.
Moving on, reports of officials. Mayor, we have Resolution 51, 2022, resolution to approve mayoral appointments of election inspectors. Whereas the mayor has diligently searched for individuals willing to give of themselves by serving as election inspectors, and whereas the mayor wishes to make the following appointments for 1 year, which begins January 1, 2022 and ends December 31, 2023. Should that not be
It should be
January 1,
2023.
23?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeffrey Bartlett, Robert Durkee, Patty Evans, Paul Morose, Roberta Morose, and Neil Whiting. Now therefore be it resolved that Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts the aforementioned recommendations passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau's 13th day of December 2022. Entertain a motion for passage of Resolution 51, 2022. Motion by Grattan.
Yep. Second.
Second by Schuster. Any further discussion? I think these are all re-ups. I don't think there's anybody new on here. They've all been serving for at least a year.
The ones that we did the last time, a lot of them didn't come back, so we're just covering our bases.
Does that have something to do with the new chief inspector? Or?
Yep.
Oh, I'm just checking.
I have to abstain. I mean, Roberta has to abstain.
Coming in
Sometimes
incognito.
that's news to people that my real name.
No further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Groton.
Aye.
Schuster.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Evans.
I guess I'll abstain.
Foodie.
Hi.
Murrow.
I'm gonna abstain.
Resolution 51, 2022 is passed. And I thank you people who do put forth your time to do that. I know a lot of times it's an all-day event for some of you, and it just doesn't seem like volunteerism extends its arm in that direction either, so.
Yeah, it's more work than you think.
I can believe that.
Did you get the memo from Karen? Do you maybe want to read that?
Sure, would you like to read it? Go ahead.
Sure. This is just a memo that Karen sent out. There was an audit. There's a few communities that were picked, so. Just a release from Karen Gibson, our county clerk, reports 5 municipalities in Dodge County were randomly chosen by the Wisconsin Election Commission, WEC, to conduct past or post-election audits of the voting equipment. Wisconsin statute 7.08 sub 6 requires the WEC to audit each voting system that is used in the state following each general election. On November 9th, 2022, Ms. Gibson, as well as the city clerk from Beaver Dam, Tracy Ferrin, Town of Elmira clerk Sharon Belling, Town of Lowell clerk Susan Kane, Village of Neosho clerk Diane Braunschweig, Village of Randolph clerk Jody Wade were notified of their selection to participate in the audit. The 5 municipalities conducted the post-election audit at the Dodge County Administration Building between November 8th and November 30th. The city of Beaver Dam wards 1, 2, 4, and 16 had 1,091 ballots cast. The town of Elmira wards 1 and 2 had 634 ballots cast. The town of Lowell ward 1 had 248 ballots cast. The village of Neosho had 305 ballots cast. And the village of Randolph had 525 ballots cast. Votes were tallied by hand for governor, attorney general, secretary of state, and assembly district contest. Following the hand count, votes were compared to the results reported on election night from the election equipment. Gibson is pleased to announce that the hand-tallied results matched the election equipment tally from election night for all 5 municipalities, proving the accuracy of the voting system. The municipalities involved in the post-election audit worked diligently throughout the day to finish the audit. Hand-counting ballots is a tedious process, but the municipalities involved kept at it until everything was complete. Everyone involved was very pleased when their end results matched machine totals. I thank not only the 5 municipalities, but all municipalities and election inspectors in Dodge County who helped make the midterm elections run smoothly and professionally. And I thought it's very important to let the public know that the equipment is very accurate and pass these audits with no flaws. And our election inspectors make that possible too, with all their hard work.
I teased Megan that she dodged a bullet.
With what?
By not being selected. Yeah.
Oh.
Kaylee dodged the bullet. And we dodged the bullet.
Well, what's even better than an audit is a recount.
Yeah. Notice they didn't pick communities that the tallies were into the thousands or anything like that.
Yeah. I have to say, City of Columbus was right next to the last presidential election with voter turnout. And we were ready.
Great. Okay, moving on. Oh. Clerk Treasurer, have anything else to report tonight? Written reports, building permits, police department, Juneau and Fire Rescue, Juneau EMS. Any questions on any of those? Reports of committees, commissions, and boards. We have our library director.
You had a heavy sigh a few seconds ago. I think you were anticipating this. I wasn't here last month because of the election.
Oh,
And
that's
I know
right, that's right.
that Kay came, and man, that just shows you her
She's
commitment to
dedicated.
this group and
No, Roberta
Roberta was
at the
there.
election, Kay came to the meeting.
Kate came to the meeting. Got it, okay. Well, I just wanted you to know that I'm thankful for how you opened up and how your superintendents went on that walkthrough. And I just wanted to thank Scott and the DPW gentleman and Juneau Utilities, because I can't hang those lights on that Christmas tree, and they did the week of Thanksgiving.
3 sticks of conduit, you can get it right.
Can't, I know, but you know, we have a great staff, and they just, you know, step up and say, sure. So I want to publicly thank them for doing that. If you haven't been to the library, we have 26 decorated Christmas trees in there. And just to clarify, this isn't a library event. This is a Chamber of Commerce event. And we are just lucky to be the hosts of the 26th annual Parade of Trees. And so they will be up all month yet. But on the 4th of December, we had an open house. And my patron counter counted over 180 people walking through, and I know some of them were multiple trips in and out, so I'm guesstimating at least 150 people were there. We had Dodgeland and St. John's provide musical entertainment. Many community members and businesses brought in prizes for the raffle. We had refreshments provided by Dodgeland FFA and their alumni. The chamber members were present to help make it run smoothly. It's evident that 26 years has built a great community event. And the library just gets to sit back and say, isn't it great? So we have effort and work in preparing that, but I want to thank one of the gentlemen at the table here who helps also pick up the trees and coordinate that whole effort, and also Brett Bowman, the chamber president, who helped Dave out with that process as well. So lots of people to thank today. And then I also wanted to mention your rec director, Ashton. She has a giving tree in the library. It's not technically one of the Parade of Trees trees. It's decorated with tags. Tags of needs for the, I have it written here, the homeless shelter, New Beginnings homeless shelter in Beaver Dam. She reached out to them, said, what do you need? And all those needs are on the tree. You can take a tag, fulfill that need, bring that item back to the library, and she will get those items to them before Christmas. So that's just another way that Juneau gives back to those in need. Some library business. Gale Courses was a platform that you could take instructor-led college-level classes, and that is going away. That has been quite expensive, and Monarch is looking to get the biggest bang for our buck. So we are sunsetting Gale Courses on December 31st, and on January 1st, we're bringing back a new online learning platform called Universal Class. It is cheaper, but it sounds like it's going to be even better than what we had before. You can start classes instantly. If you want to learn how to play guitar, John, you can do that. You can take a class and learn on January 1st if you want. Lots of recreational things, curiosity things, all the way to professional courses that can help you pad your resume a little bit. So ask us more at the library about that. And then just a few props I brought with. This is Sherlock Gnome, and he's very similar to the elf on the shelf. He visits the library every December, and he changes where he sits every day. So just the other day, he was in this kissing booth, and he gave away free kisses. So you can have a kiss from Sherlock Gnome if you'd like. Yeah, pass it around.
These are all for me.
I'm not, that's the only kiss you're getting from me. Or Sherlock. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then last but not least, in 2 days, on Thursday, we have reintroduced a teen and tween program. So we're going to be making hot chocolate in a jar. This is missing the chocolate chips and the marshmallows, but it'll be filled up. Kids that attend this are going to learn the history of hot chocolate. They'll make some hot chocolate. They'll test some interesting flavors of hot chocolate. And so we're just hoping to reach all of the people in our community, from the very young to our teens and tweens and our adults. So thank you for your time. Everybody get a kiss? All right, that wanted a kiss.
Any questions for Jeanette? Thank you, Jeanette.
All right.
Tree does look very nice.
Doesn't it look nice? Yes. I did nothing to contribute to that.
And I'll get you those 3 sticks of conduit next year.
I know, okay,
With
you
the hook-
heard it,
with the
put it in
hook
the
on the-
minutes.
with the hook on the- Okay, moving on. Plan Commission, David.
We did meet. We met with Dodge County Housing Authorities, and they are proceeding ahead with plans for a new subdivision in town called Sunset View. It'll be the property east of the high school, south of the health center that's there, that farm field. They're going to build that. They're going to put duplexes in there. They'll have their own road and underground structure, the water and sewer, that they'll maintain everything on their own campus. Will not be maintained by the city. They will tie into our electrical, water, and sewer. There's going to be handicapped homes on it. It's going to be, I envision it as a good property, a good venue for the city to get involved with that. We discussed concerns with Happy Tales Hangout. We are still going to work on that next month. We discussed removal of the tenants residing in the house on, well, it's on North Main Street. We'll have a tour together here. On North Main Street, it's zoned R1A. The house had a fire and was not rehabbed for years. Then illegally the gentleman rehabbed it and sold it as a duplex. And it's not zoned correctly for a duplex. We also discussed removal of people from the Central Business Zone B2. They're not zoned correctly to be living on the first floor. The old Tony Cox's office building. They're living in the downstairs. They obviously put bathroom in without any permits, or they would have been told they couldn't live there. We discussed abandoned vehicles around town. That was it.
Any questions for David? Just clarification on that duplex on North Main Street there. Once a premise loses tenants and lays dormant for over a year, and if it's improperly zoned, that's the time the city can step in and say, you lost your window here. You know, the grandfather clause is now out the window. You have to abide by the present day zoning that we had. That's zone R1A, not R2 for duplexes. So at the time this owner was buying the place, she was in here asking about it, and we did set her straight on that's what had happened, that the place laid there dormant for too long, that now it would have to revert back to a single family dwelling rather than a duplex and under and over. She agreed with it, had no issue with it, but then it seemed like, I guess maybe 6 months went by and we spotted that there are 2 separate residents inside the place, so. Had a caller on it, and that's where we're at with it right now. Hopefully, it'll go through without an issue. The building inspector had reported back to me that they opened up the stairway from the ground floor to the second floor now, and that they would continue to pay 2 electric bills with the two meters, and I guess they did combine the water into one and what have you. So, anyway, it's being resolved, I think, and Plan Commission will keep an eye on it, as well as our PD. So. Anything else for Plan Commission, Dave? Any questions for Dave?
I do have a comment. We did send out 2 certified letters to the landlords of both buildings. We're still waiting on, the read receipt or whatever. I haven't got anything back, but Rob did draft them and they were sent.
Oh, I guess I forgot, the old car dealership in town, in the old Pilsner garage, we're sending them a letter as well about the abandoned vehicles that are out front. The business is defunct, so they need to be taken care of.
Okay, let's move on. Finance Committee, Cheryl.
We did not meet.
Personnel Committee, Kay, or Roberta. Here we are.
Mrs. Morose.
Ms.
Ms. Morose. We did not meet.
Public Safety, John.
We did not meet either. I just did have one question. Is there anything on the burnt house? Any update on that at all?
Well, we're moving ahead. We served her with a certified letter.
And you did find her
which is the
treasurer?
Yeah, for a certified letter. That's the first step in the process. So
Right.
I think realistically, though, it's probably February, I would say, is the date when we probably get it back, somewhere in that range. We also want to clean up your ordinance, too. The ordinance we have
Yeah, I think we talked
isn't
about
too
that.
good. So.
Okay.
And I guess we muggled through this. We gave them an extension to delay the abandonment of utilities, and that was decided at the utility level for 9 months that we give them over beyond the year, because our ordinance reads that over and beyond the year, it's supposed to be abandoned right out to the street mains and whatever. So we sent them to the Utility Commission, and the Utility Commission did give them 9 months extension to do that. So
Makes sense.
and I guess what came to light that night, which I don't think was known here, it sounds like the person that's willing to tear it down, must be in the excavating business, is looking to buy the property.
Oh, okay.
So that might streamline things.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Okay.
we still have to get her served and get her to sign off on her half and what have you. So.
Right.
And do you have any working knowledge of how that money that's held in escrow for demo for her half, there's like $7,400
That the insurance company
Yeah,
has.
the insurance company is holding. How do we proceed with making sure that that doesn't get lost?
Second part of that is we're seeking an order or their agreement to turn that over. And I think they're going to cooperate on that, but they want a court order or some kind of
Okay.
document to release it.
So you're in the loop on that. So.
Right.
Okay. Very good.
And that money's being held. We'll eventually get that.
All right. Okay. Nothing else in public safety?
Nothing else, no.
Okay. Moving on. Cable TV.
Cable TV had no meeting, but as always, we're still looking for producers.
CDA, we did have a little action in the Wild Goose Park there. We had authorized dollars to be spent for storm sewer extensions and whatever. That work has been completed. Now we're going to get the pumping station back permanently installed. It's still running on temporary pumps, but everybody down there sees a big improvement as far as groundwater entering into their collection systems around their house. And everybody that builds down there, there's 1, 2, 3 right now that are under construction right now. Every time we put another hole in the ground and get another collection tile around the basement, it seems to help the neighbors. So everybody's happy down there that some pumps aren't running around the clock. And that's about all. We didn't have a meeting. We didn't really have anything else to act upon. Any questions on CDA? Recreation, Roberta?
We did meet, And we took some action on updating our rental cost for our fields, our softball fields, soccer fields. And we added just some liability waiver, and we're going to run that past the city attorney.
And April just sent this afternoon a better liability waiver for you and a better memorandum of understanding. And she sent it, I think, to Megan.
Okay, yeah, there's no big
But it's-
rush on this.
Yeah, but I have it with me. I
Oh,
can show you.
okay.
I got the, here's a copy of both. But it's just a better memorandum of understanding, a better waiver agreement that protects the city a little better.
Okay, I just took that off of, something that was
Yeah,
sitting there in the
it was fine, but we felt we wanted to improve it. So I had April who does a lot of the prosecution work now, and she improved that.
Okay, all right.
It's a much better.
So that, and then what he's talking about memorandum of understanding, I talked about how we have these mutual use facilities between Dodgeland, and we had no kind of, agreement, nothing written. And so another item on recreation is we had passed this kind of draft of memorandum of understanding, just trying to start the ball rolling, and that also went to the city attorney, and so now we will take this back as something that you reviewed at...
Right, that coupled with the waiver you've got underneath there.
Okay. So those are the things that we are working at, and now this memorandum of understanding, first we'll have to go to the Dodgeland and see where their thoughts are on all that. So we are continuing to work on that so that we can have something in writing when we use each other's facilities. We also talked about a clarification on which parties can use the City of Juneau's recreational facilities maybe without a fee, whether that's a non-for-profit, something that's in the city. Again, there's no policy, and so sometimes there's maybe a past practice that happened then, but there's nothing for our new director to refer to, and so we are looking just to develop some policy and guidelines about, maybe when a fee does get waived, under what circumstance. So that is, we'll continue to work on that. The director reports that pickleball has started, and pickleball, that is a big thing. I think we gotta do more pickleball courts outside. They can come on their bike. There you go. And then they can go to our fitness platform. There you go. And Juneau will be, who knows?
And they'll do their 70 miles.
Yeah. So, but yes, the director is working on Letters of Santa, the Giving Tree, which Jeanette talked about, and that, just some various activities that are going on. She also has run a couple of basketball tournaments, and this past Saturday she was ill and needed someone to run a girls basketball tournament, and Paul and I stepped right in there. Never ran a basketball tournament or concessions, but she was ill and needed help. And so I do want to thank Gail Amsler came in the morning and helped us set up, because we had to bring all the concessions from, community center to the school and, open things up and put the lights on and figure out everything in the school. So, and then Gail came back in the afternoon to help us wrap up. And so I would like to thank Gail for helping us, because I think it would have been chaos. Paul and I can try to do our best, but she really,
She could probably do those in her sleep, as many as she's done.
Yeah. And it also, I know, for sitting on the committee, it was a real education to really how much work the rec director goes through in running a tournament, getting all those teams, getting them scheduled, getting the refs, getting the scorekeepers, the timekeepers, and then selling all these concessions and then breaking it all down and moving it back out of the high school, cleaning it all up. And so I got a real education on how much effort really goes into that. But you know, it's people like Gail that in the last minute can come in and with her institutional knowledge of how to run it, just a real help. And I certainly want to recognize that.
Any questions? Okay, moving on. Utility Commission. Richard?
We had our organizational meeting, and Robert Offeld was reelected as president, and Ross Caniff is reelected as vice president. Then we had our regular meeting, and as the mayor said, the folks from the burned down duplex came in and requested an extension on their abandonment of utilities, and we approved that for 9 months with the stipulation that they get a plumber to seal the sanitary sewer so that rainwater doesn't flow out to the sewer field. Then we had an online meeting with the architects from the Dodge County Housing Authority that Dave was talking about to discuss the extension of utilities to the new housing development on Western Avenue. And we approved the extension of utilities as long as they included separate water lines to each residence, and then they share a sanitary line for duplexes. So we'd be able to, excuse me, shut off the water to the separate residences if necessary. Then we were visited by Matt Castillo and Nicole Crucial from MSA to keep us updated on the wastewater treatment plant upgrade project. And they presented a timeline for scheduling the funding and the bidding plan. And we approved their recommended timeline. On Thursday, they're going to post the bid to the public. So on the 12th of January, it will actually be an open bid, so they can bid on the project. And within 60 days of that opening, then it would be awarded if we choose to do so. Excuse me. We have an interim loan that we would like to roll into the Clean Water Fund loan. So there's some timing issues there, and so we're getting down to the crunch time on this project. And the project is estimated to cost right now $12.6 million. So it's going to be one of the biggest projects you're going to see around here for a long time, hopefully. And but we're still frustrated with Sensient. We're still waiting for them to sign their contract, and you know, if they sign it, then they'll share in the costs. If they don't sign it, it's a whole new ballgame. I don't know. We're not sure what will happen. If they do sign it, the city's portion would be around $8 million, and the final financing date is actually June 30th for the Clean Water Fund loan. So we have about a half a year to get this in. I know it's a lot of information, but I just want to keep everybody up to date on it because it's a big project.
It'll be interesting what you hear back from the PSC. Because it says directive to contact PSC to ask for guidelines on how to get Sensient to move forward. Be interesting to see what their guidelines are, because you would think there's got to be a deadline or.
What we learned was that PSC does not handle our wastewater, has no say in our wastewater, so does not have a horse in the race on this one, will not make a determination on this. However, the DNR may have something to say to Sensient more because they do have to have wastewater handled.
So hopefully they can come up with a deadline or
We're not working
guidelines.
through DNR right now, but, yeah. that would be a source of resource for us to go to. So PSC does not have a horse in this race to help us, because they do not dictate our rates and such.
Yeah, the sewer utility is deregulated, so we do have the right to adjust rates yearly if we see fit. PSC does have the oversight on how we handle our customers, though. I mean, there's been the opinion, let's just close the valve so they can't send any more to us. That'll make them move off a dead center. You got to be very careful with that when you're dealing with the PSC as far as handling and shutting off customers and what have you. I said after we heard all the ups and downs with that, I said, we need them to come to play with us, because when they're talking 34% of the expense of that plant, we need them to partner with us. So we got to be very careful on how we handle them. But I've never, ever had to deal with another entity that the paper's been laying around on the attorney's desk, and when
we made the
he gets to it.
months and months and months ago.
5-6 months ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no, it's obviously a stall tactic, and we did recommend that they contact you.
Never had any contact.
I know we were gonna send a letter out on our own, but I think it's gonna have a little more bite in it than what the utility commission will have versus having another attorney saying, hey, this is enough here.
Right, it is.
If you don't wanna play ball with us, let us know up front so we can make other arrangements or whatever, but just,
Yeah, let me know. I think that's the direction we should go.
so that's where we left it that night. I think, Richard, you had made the recommendation that we contact them one last time before we get legal
All right,
advice.
let me know when you're ready.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we have to express to them our timetable now, because it's.
We put that in black and white now, everything from the bid letting to you name it, all the way down to the finish, date on it, whatever,
Yeah.
so. Okay, anything else, Richard?
A couple other things. The commission approved taking Pam from the office off probation as of December 13th. Is that today? Okay. Accounts payable are now being handled by the utility office staff, and lighting has been completed on Highland Street. So that's what I'll have.
Any questions for Richard? Seeing none, any old business night?
I just want to say, if you want to see a picture of the plant, I do have the information here. If you want to see what it's going to look like when it's done, or what the plan is and the detail that came from MSA, I do have that here. Also, remember, your utility bills still need to pay. It is not free.
Anything else?
Is the house up on North Main Street that has squatters in it, are the utilities off in that home?
My understanding, they're shut off, but they're not abandoned.
So there's no electric and no water?
From what I understand, I guess they're shut off.
It's not me.
Tough neighborhood you live in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's been interesting up there.
Any old business tonight? New business? If you got kids, grandkids, don't forget breakfast with Santa down at the community center on Saturday morning. Come and see the 6-foot elf named Phyllis.
I guess I have some news, some new business. Affect everybody's stormwater. Sensient's retaining wall fell in and was plugging up the 5-foot, 6-foot hole in that their driveway is on. They've added a new pipe on the end, and it's open. I went down when we had a storm, and there was maybe a foot of water, foot of open space on the north side of their culvert, and on the other side there was 3-4 foot drop. And so when it went away, I went and looked and saw the retaining wall and brought that to Scott's attention. He went and talked with John Long, and they came up with this plan to fix it, and it's repaired. So we should have better water runoff down the creek.
And the new containers were delivered today. If someone didn't get theirs, maybe they can call.
I don't know if
think they went
I
through
don't
the
think they
whole
made the whole
town.
city.
I think they just
They
made.
just
It
did
has
partial.
started.
Partial.
It started, yeah.
It
It's
has
gonna take
started.
a week or two to
I've
get it
gotten
all
lots of phone
done.
calls already today.
Oh, I bet.
But they'll use them, they'll use them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, the new containers are being delivered, but the contract doesn't start till January 1st, so.
Right, so don't fill up the new containers. Both of you that are watching us tonight, don't fill up. Yeah, I can see that happening. That's the first thing that went through my mind. I bet you we'll see those new ones pushed out the street tomorrow night. you
Well, I
know.
can't believe people that are even complaining that they're getting new containers. Where should we store 4 now?
Yeah,
Just a short time.
right.
Yeah.
When you go around town, there's a lot of them without wheels, or only one wheel on them and whatever, so they're pretty well spent, so.
They
Good
will be
point.
picking up the old ones though.
Yes, oh yeah.
29.
That's when
Yeah.
so,
The 29th.
Last garbage, they leave them out and put them out and leave them out until they
Yep.
get
that's
fixed up,
right,
so.
both of them, yep.
Yeah, that's something that City Hall's gonna have to emphasize, anybody that asks, is hey, you take them out for the last time, leave them out there,
Yeah.
don't bring them back in.
We will have a post made, yes. And everybody I've talked to today, we have told them.
If they
Great.
need it.
All right, next we have approved regular bartender's license, our provincial bartender's license. Who wants to handle the names here? Cheryl, how about you?
Read them like you know them, Dad always said, so.
Professionals, yeah.
Kamari Papo, Neha Roka Mahar, Kalista Cheki. That's your provisional.
I make a motion to approve the provisional licenses.
Motion by Foodie,
I'm only seeing,
Listed in, yeah, Calista is only on the regular, she's not on the
Oh,
provisional.
on my sheet here.
Yeah,
she's
that's
on.
not given
I'm
to
sorry.
her.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I was
It's
reading
all
off
right,
my
we weren't
notes
gonna
here.
criticize.
motion by Foodie, second by Evans, with the alteration. All in favor?
Alright,
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
regular bartender's licenses, Kamari Papo, Nahar Roka Mahar, Kalista Cheki.
So moved.
Motion by Morose, second by Schuster. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. No other business. I want to wish everybody a happy holiday, safe and prosperous New Year. See you back here next year or at committee level.
Adjourn.
Morose, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Brown. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approved? Carried. This meeting is closed.